never seen that, never heard of it. That's baloney. I talked to some pool people. Never seen it, and it makes no sense.
So just tell them you make 100 grand a year, and they'll accept that.
My friend at work got a house for $200,000. I want to get one before they become $300,000.
You're buying a house that's 300 that was 200 a year ago. It'll be 400 next year.
Now this economy is getting juiced up on steroids from all the cash that was out there.
Even if you have to sell it, what can you lose?
We're about 3 hours from Los Angeles, 3 hours from Sacramento. We're 2 hours from the ocean and 2 hours up to the ski resorts just up here in the mountains.
Fresno is not California. This is like, it's Fresno.
There was one loan product called the Ninja loan that was a no income verification, no asset verification, and no job verification.
Good old Greenspan and Bush trying to hide the fact that there was a war in Iraq. Keep your people happy, keep the rates low, allow people to tap their equity out of their homes, keep the economy going. Meanwhile, we're spending $10 billion a month on a war that really didn't need to be there.
Stated income, no documentation loans. Don't need to verify anything, just need a certain credit score, certain amount of money down. We don't care where the money comes from.
Greenspan really should be tar and feathered. I mean, you know, he and Bush, they pulled the wool over the whole American public's eyes.
They come to us saying, you have any loans that you can't do because they don't meet these traditional guidelines? We've got this loan here. And there's a risk. There's a greater risk taking a loan where you don't know if somebody can make the payment back. So those lenders would charge a higher rate of interest.
But then lenders got competitive amongst themselves and they started offering it with 10% down, then 5%. Pretty soon you needed no money down. So you had no money down, no job, no income, no asset verification. And I mean, that one I have to look at the lenders and say, what were you thinking?
You pretty much could cheat on your returns, do whatever you want, and the government was allowing you to do that through the stated income program. And so if we're allowing people to get into homes that they can't afford because they're lying about their income, then who's to blame?
Loan officers were telling them, real estate agents were telling them. Developers, builders were telling them. I mean, I think pretty much anybody that stood an opportunity to make money. There will be 3 million foreclosures this year. 3 million.
Dude, it was so nasty. I almost puked. Like, Jamie's all, oh, there's a dead gopher in here. Look at all these maggots. Almost forgot the most important thing. Jeez, look at this thing. That's a way to ride. Oh, yeah.
I sort of spilled your beer.
Oh, you
Sorry, dude. I threw my shirt and I couldn't see the beer. It was behind the backpack.
Just like on the way up, there's a way down. Everything will bounce back.
Josh really is down to skate empty swimming pools. That's it. Like, he's not about surfing, he's not about riding bikes, whatever. It's just empty swimming pools, finding them, cleaning them, skating.
One of the worst things about having a pool in the summertime here in Fresno is the mosquito larvae that'll just grow in any water that they want.
No, not any pool, because a clean pool they don't grow in.
All right.
Once they drain that pool, that's one sure way to get rid of the mosquitoes. And what happens, we get the tumblers, and that's the eggs, and they go up and down and they breathe. And then the tumblers turn into what we call wigglers. And they go up and down, and you can see them in the pool. If you look down into a dirty pool, you'll see them come up and take a breath of air. So what they have is a siphon tube, and they're actually coming up and breeding. Basically, our mosquitoes here have West Nile Nires. Once these become adults and they fly out, the only thing they're going to eat is blood. As soon as they find a dog, a cat, a human, they're going to actually bite into you. They're not biting, they're actually puncturing your blood vein and entering it that way. So dogs, they actually lay their eggs into the bloodstream and it works itself to the heart. So that's what kills the dog. It's actually a larva. Its mouth part is called a proboscis, and it's a piercing mouth. They actually fill their proboscis up with an anticoagulant. They inject that into your bloodstream. If you don't get a mosquito off within 3 seconds, you've probably been injected. You could actually take, like I said, some diesel oil and like a tablespoon, and you put it on the pool here, and it would spread over that whole thing, and when they come up to get a breath of air, it'll plug their siphon tubes up. If I was going to have a party, I'd invite the skateboarders over. They'd bring their women and they'd bring their beer over and we'd all party. And they'd drain the pool for us and get rid of our mosquitoes.
Fresno is sort of a microcosm of the country. Things went up so fast and actually so much later than the rest that we started to overbuild way after everybody else. So our crash was a lot harder than in San Francisco or LA.
Everybody is looking for the reason why it was somebody else's fault that they made an obligation for an amount that is higher than what it's worth today. And everybody's looking for somebody to blame, and it's never them. You took the money, that's the kind of stuff that makes me crazy. The ones that did that. The ones that got hurt, like we talked about originally, that didn't understand what they were getting into, and they are victims of a sort. They still should have been smart enough or gotten advice that was better, but maybe they thought they were getting good advice.
The people that were that stupid to take the loans were so stupid that they didn't screw themselves like that. They would have screwed themselves another way. What are you, 5? You're a grown adult. How does a loan agent talk you into something that you should be able to know for yourself isn't a good decision? You need to make your own decisions, especially when it comes to something financial like buying a house. You don't let someone else convince you that it's a good idea when you know that it's not a good idea. Some people had some unfortunate things. Some people now are losing their houses that were able to afford the houses because the economy got so messed up that now people that did have good jobs are getting laid off, so now they're losing their houses too. But I went down there to film it and I just got the gnarliest whiff and started gagging, almost dragging.
I'm biased because I was born here, and the cost of living is still very low, and Fresno's been very, very good to me. I've had almost a 40-year career in radio here, and it's paid me very well after about 35 years of it. I happen to like the weather. I'm one of those people that likes it when it's 110 degrees, which puts me in a huge minority, I'm sure, but when the summer rolls around, I'm a happy camper because I like the flaming heat. Radio's theater of the mind. I mean, it's the one last media entity that's still all in your head. It's not something you can pick up and stare at. It's not something that you can turn on and stare at. It's all got to happen up here.
Well, I received this gift, and it says Donnie Buckner on it. Our pitcher on our slow pitch softball team actually had a shutout going, and he's 57 years old, so this is his first shutout in his life. We're in the last inning. It's 2 outs, runners on first and second. I'm playing third base, and the ball's hit to me, and it was hit like medium speed. Wasn't fast, wasn't slow. It was a 3-hopper. It went right through my legs. I just flat out missed it. They totally forget all the good plays I made during the year.
75% of our market in Fresno right now is either bank-owned or short sales.
And I remember subprime loans maybe hitting the mainstream around 2001, 2002.
This is a perfect example of this sheet right here. If you look at the foreclosures, the notice of defaults that were filed in 2006 in January were 157. This year it's 1,033.
I hear stories about people who would say, well, you know, if you tell me that you make $8,000 a month as a manager at Arby's restaurant, I'll put that down on the loan application, and that will be what you need to get qualified. That's wrong, and that's where, you know, that's a liar's loan. That's outright fraud.
A lot of jobs were eliminated. For instance, our Fresno Bee was one of our biggest employers. Our newspaper's just a couple pages now, and other newspapers nationally have closed after, I think, one in Seattle after 140 years. So just times have changed.
Did things get shipped overseas to be manufactured overseas because the quality was better? Yeah, maybe that's true in the auto industry, but it wasn't necessarily true in the clothing industry or the furniture industry. It was just cheaper, and we wanted things cheaper, 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 but we were really shooting ourselves in the foot because it was putting our brother or sister or uncle out of a job. And then it didn't matter what price it was being sold for because you couldn't buy it. I'm committed to being here and making a difference in my community, and if I can do it by buying my coffee at Review as opposed to, you know, Starbucks, the evil empire from Seattle, which I love their coffee, so it's hard to do, I'm going to go to Review.
There was a website created called lenderimplode.com. And you could actually watch, it's like a radar list of, okay, here's the banks that have fallen already, and then here are the ones that are on the watch list. And that included some big name people, Washington Mutual, Countrywide, Bank of America.
The bank is probably going to lose $100,000 on a $300,000 property that now sells for $200,000.
We were finding so many pools last summer. We'd pump one pool one day. Before we even skate it, we'd find a better pool, go clean that out, and never even go back to the one we cleaned out. So then we're doing a huge favor for the realty people because we're just cleaning them out and never even skating them. Vagabond, I'd say, was my real first pool experience. That was a pool we had here for years. It was gone for probably 8 or 9 years, a vacant motel, and we ended up building skate park stuff. Just like at that deaf guy Ray's house, we built stuff like that around the whole pool.
Vagabond went for a lot of years, and then when Vagabond was gone, Ray's was on. Very big feeling behind the pride when we clean it out. You know, it's not ours. I mean, they say when every house you ever buy, you have a sort of pride over it. Well, every house you ever clean out, you have a sort of pride over it when you ride in it, because we get to enjoy something no one else will. When Fresno had so many pools, many people moved to town, lots of cool people. Met some of my greatest friends in a hole in the ground. And there's a lot of really people that banded together to help this happen, and no one did it on their own. It was kind of a team effort.
And then when the Vagabond was getting torn out, we tore it off. It was just stuff like this that we had built ourselves that we put on the Vagabond. We tore it off to reuse it. It's got sentimental value. Cut the roof off this old beater car I had, and I threw a rock at the window. It didn't break. My friend was all drunk, started kicking the window. We didn't even think he'd be able to kick through it, so we didn't stop him. He kicked through. Right when he kicked through, sunk his leg through, and it just cut up his whole leg. And it was bad. We just took him over to Nate's house, a half gallon of whiskey, and sewed him up. See the Blue Haven? They're good. Blue Havens are the best. The new ones aren't any good. It's like the ones they made in the 50s or 60s are usually the best ones. Before the foreclosures started happening, they were tearing down all these old ranch homes, and before they tear them out, they'd be vacant. We'd go skate the pools and they'd tear those out, build tons of track housing there. Now half those track houses are brand new homes that still haven't even sold. That's why now the government's doing like, you get $8,000 if you're a first-time buyer buying any house, but if you buy a brand new house, you get $10,000 on top of that, because there's so many brand new houses sitting. They want to get people in them so they could make more jobs and start building houses again. Go gadget phone. This right here, we're on this bend. The house next door to this one should have an empty pool in the yard, but let's see if this is correct. Every time we knock at a door, just kind of feel the vibe by whoever answers the door. If they're older people and their yard's kind of messy, we'll offer them yard work or we'll pay them. If it's younger partier, we'll tell them we'll go buy them a 30-pack of beer. It's just the house next door is the pool, which is better because this looks like some paranoid tweaker house with keep out signs all over it.
Where's the corner? Where's the street?
Look, there's the pool. Here's the street right here. We were just on the corner right here. So is it across the street?
It's his house. Hey, this is the dude I think we were trying to talk to. And see that right there? Like, we're using satellite imagery. That's your house right there, and we want to clean and skate your pool. And like, I'm a professional skateboarder, and he's a filmmaker. And we're trying to find pools to try to skate or clean. We sign waivers and liability. We release liability waivers and everything, you know.
What do you think, Screech?
Oh wow, this is like my favorite type of pocket. Look at that frog.
It's a perfect situation. We've been trying to get all this dirty pool water out of here.
We're gonna rescue the frogs so we don't piss off any Republicans.
So hot in Fresno, it melts the glue in the fucking fan blades. This is ridiculous.
Skating pools is like fast reactions. There's no time to see what you're doing. It's all fill and it's real violent and choppy, just like surfing. It wasn't built to be skated. In skate parks, there's lots of transition, so there's plenty of time for reaction. You can mess up and position your feet back in place as you go down. And especially in a shallow end compared to a deep end, the tranny gets less, so the reaction time gets faster. You can't see what you're doing when you're coming off a trick in a shallow end. It's just like real violent and choppy, and your feet shake around. If you're not set up, you are gonna fall. That was all up.
I didn't look very fun, dude. You okay?
As long as the market was going up, this game could actually be sustained, because even with 100% financing, next month or next 2 months, there was already an equity in the property, so-called equity based on comparable sales. But that did not sustain itself.
Well, being a Republican, I'm going to look to point the finger at a Democrat. So it goes back to Bill Clinton around 1996 when the mandate came forth to increase home ownership in America. So, you know, what's that old thing from the Depression era days? A car in every garage, a mule and a chicken in every pot. I don't know. Well, we wanted everybody to be able to buy a house, or the president did, the administration. And that's just not feasible.
That's not actually what he was saying. What he was saying is he wanted the economic situation in our country to be where everybody could afford to be a homeowner. You know, so a lot of the times they point the whole deregulation of the housing market at, you know, oh, well, Bush was just following through on what Clinton wanted to do with our country, which is so far from the truth.
They changed the laws that were in place since the Depression era, you know, to deregulate the financial market so they could package up mortgage-backed securities and sell them. And at the time, they seemed like they were heroes. Everyone made a lot of money. But the reality is that's what's taken the market down. Did we not learn anything about the volatility of Wall Street, and now we're going to let that fund the American dream? That's ridiculous.
You know, everybody got greedy and skimmed enough off the top. Until they weren't skimming off the top, they were skimming out of the bottom line, and they essentially, you know, bankrupted the country. Have you had your booster shots? He claims it's a shoestring belt, but I'm pretty sure it's a thong. Oh, I'm getting my doctorate in physical therapy. Yep.
Been going to school all these years, missed out on so many good pools.
The pool skating scene in Fresno is just so big because it's so hot here. It's always been run down compared to the rest of California. There's just vacant, abandoned homes everywhere with empty swimming pools sitting there stagnant, waiting for us to find them and clean them out. And people travel from all over the place to come skate these swimming pools.
Even in the world of skateboarding, it's such a small percentage of people that even do this.
Oh, why do you drive separate?
Huh?
Yeah.
You drove out here too? Flew in last night from Canada.
I
Woke up this morning. My friends and I are building a renegade skate park in San Francisco, and then I went to Canada to work on the guys in Vancouver's one that they're building up there, because we're into spreading the plague. I have a career.
What do you do?
I'm a stagehand. I'm a member of the Stagehands Union, the IATSC. I'm a grip at the opera during the opera season. Killer gig.
That sock and eye place where they cook in front of you?
Yeah, sure.
Places. His boss is paying for dinner tonight if he gets to crash at the house. I'm all, fuck yeah! Free food!
That place kind of tough for your diet. Actually, they got sushi bar though they can do.
No, that's what I was saying. They have a sushi bar and fish and stuff too. They got lobster and halibut, crustaceans, crawdads.
One of the first things they said is, we want our chamber to be the 800-pound gorilla in this community. Actually, I think they started out at about 600 pounds, but every time I turned around, it was going up another 100 pounds. So anyway, we got to that 800-pound gorilla mark. So my first week at this chamber, I asked the staff, I said, go online and see if you can find an 800-pound gorilla. And sure enough, we found one in China.
A lot of the people that were living in San Francisco were actually buying homes in the valley and commuting. A lot of the people that were living in Silicon Valley couldn't afford to buy a home. You know, the average home there was extremely expensive, so you could afford to buy a home here and they would commute.
It's a fairly large city if you like big cities, and it's still got a little bit of the small town feel if you like small towns.
We were discovered finally as being a part of the state that was still affordable, even in this bubble, or in this run-up of the market. We were viewed as being very affordable.
You were here for the Gottschalk's demise. 100-year-old store gone completely out of business. Restaurants are failing, small businesses are failing, and instead of having people standing in line for the space, some of the space is starting to fall vacant.
Another reason that the prices, that bubble was unsustainable, was that the percentage rise in housing was going up so much faster than the percentage rise in income.
The other thing that I think is interesting, and Judith was telling me this statistic, about 70% of the families she sees isn't from predatory lending, it's because it's strictly about a loss of job. And so it's an income factor. So even if home prices didn't decline, this market would have been hit horribly because of the bad economy.
This is not good for the neighborhood. Heck, a kid could get lost in there.
The first step that will happen is they will go delinquent. They'll miss probably about 90 days of payments, which is when the notice of default starts. The bank will then file a notice of default against the homeowner and start the foreclosure proceedings.
I think we're actually bouncing off of the bottom.
Failure has to happen for capitalism to be a success.
If you don't allow people to fail, and you only allow the big guys to run the business, there's no room for you. And there's never a chance for the phoenix to rise out of the ashes.
Stage number 2 is the notice of trustee sale. The notice of trustee sale, as of today, can be recorded 90 days after the notice of default. Now that alerts the homeowner that their home is going to sale 20 days from the date it is recorded.
At that point, the property is taken to the courthouse steps, offered for sale for whatever the lender puts it for sale for.
beer prices on the other side of town. The 18 pack of Coors for fucking $12.99. Break my knuckle, don't you? That's all squid.
Spiders. I fucking hate spiders. #1 fear. That's why I hate, like, I hate that about skating pools, because everything's so fucked up. Like, all these bushes, I call those things spider bushes. Why is that next to a pool anyways? What were they thinking?
Like, yeah.
But spiders creep me out. They're so, they just creep up, like they just, oh, fuck that.
That's the death box that we grind over. That's a hard one. That's a real steep shallow obstacle. It's meant for filtering the pool, or an obstacle if you like skateboarding in it.
I just think you gotta live within your means, and people were trying to live way out of their means. It's just like, same thing with cars. These people that buy the flashy cars with the stupid rims and big old sound system, they live in a trailer, a one-bedroom apartment in the ghetto. It's just dumb. You gotta live within your means.
I mean, they do a lot of shows here and stuff, though. I just don't really go to any of them. Like, only bar I really go to is the one I pointed out on the way here.
City Lights?
Yeah.
When are we going there?
Couple hours.
Well, there's no need to yell at me, honey. It's
We went and took shots at my house, then he left, and then came back the next morning before I had to go to
You
work.
forgot the part where
It was after a while we moved in with each other. It wasn't right away.
Yeah.
Like after 3 months.
We went to like Oregon pretty quick.
Yeah, we went to Oregon.
Took her to
We went
Oregon,
to
showed her
Willits
real
and
strip
Oregon.
clubs,
Yeah.
because here they're only topless,
It's awesome. Way, way better than California.
and they're all top notch.
Yeah,
chicks.
all their chicks are freaking fine.
And these
I don't know, because it's like the same. Doesn't really feel much different from before. Just
because
now
we're
I know.
happily married.
Yeah, I know now he's
Because
not
that's my
doing any other
advice to
women.
any man. You should marry a stripper. Because obviously if they have enough confidence to get on stage and take their clothes off, then they're not jealous, obsessive weirdos. Almost any of my other married friends are miserable. They can't go to the strip clubs with me because they're
Or come over when we have strippers over.
yeah, because their wives
Like,
are jealous and insecure of their bodies, so they're
yeah.
not willing to let
And they're
them.
welcome to come too. I'm always like, bring the wives. I'm gonna be here getting wasted too.
Did you know Kevin Federline comes from Fresno?
Hey, how you doing? This Steve? Yep. How you doing, buddy? Great to meet you. Nice to meet you. Oh, yeah. That's what the Mayor Swearingen should do. Outsource the pool draining to the skateboarders. Right?
I love the idea.
Just pay them money. What, a skateboard probably do it for what, $2 and an In-N-Out burger? All right, sounds good, Steve. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
And folks, I certainly appreciate you tuning in 1300 Country.
Willow, we're going to go to Chestnut. I personally know of many realtors and mortgage brokers that can afford to make their house payment, but are choosing not to based on basically a business decision. The house is so upside down that why keep throwing good money after bad? It might take 10, 20 years for that house to catch back up to where it needs to be. And so people that have good income, that are making money, that can afford to make those house payments, are letting them go.
The ones that have the choice, that make $200,000 a year and have a $4,000 house payment on a house that's worth $2,000 a month anymore, that walk away, I tell them that they're flakes. I tell them that they're losers. I mean, I said, who trained you? Who brought you up? What are your parents like? We have foreclosed on more lenders' houses than probably any other particular group, because they made stupid loans to themselves.
You can reduce the interest rate, you can stretch out the amortization all you want, but if they cannot reduce the liability owed, where's the incentive for the borrower to stay in the house?
We had no REOs for how many years in the housing industry because prices went up so high that if somebody went into foreclosure, the bank or the Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac actually made money on that foreclosure. Never had to be a real estate owned property because they would just flip it.
If you're upside down $100,000, meaning your house is worth $100,000 less than what you owed on it, If we were to level out today and start a normal 2 to 5% appreciation per year, it's going to take maybe 10 years to break even, just to get back to what you owe on this property. From a business perspective, what's the incentive to do that?
And there are basically two options. One is to go back to the lender and to get them to renegotiate a short-term package, a patch, if you will. The patches take care of the day-to-day for a couple of years or whatever the term is. What I think they truly do is handcuff that person for a longer period of time, because now you're tied up for another 2 or 3 years unless the market turns completely and comes back to where the equity equals the loan balance. All you've done is trap yourself in a poor situation. If you're stretched right to the limit right here and you're going to stay stretched for another 3 years, your other credit is going to suffer as well. And at the end of 3 years, you're going to be in a worse place than you are now, because whatever these deals are making are short term. They do ultimately go back to the original deal or higher, and they add on everything that you don't pay to the back end. You entered into a deal with the devil because, you know, the devil owned your soul at the end of the conversion period. There was no way you were going to have that much of an increase in pay that you would be able to double your payment. So, I mean, they were guaranteed lose deals. Somebody else made the money off of it, but I wouldn't. To me, it was blood money.
You can hand the keys back to the bank. You can get hit with the foreclosure. If you keep your credit clean, if you keep your nose clean for the next, 3.5 years, we could turn around. We can do a new FHA loan at 96.5%, and theoretically, the homeowner might be able to get the property that they lost in foreclosure back at the actual value. The reality of the situation is the banks are hemorrhaging right now, and they're hemorrhaging at the seams.
The banks that are holding the key to this have the ability now to stop it. They've been given government incentives to modify loans. So the person who had this option arm loan that started out at 1% and now they're up at 9.5%, and they can't afford the 9.5%, maybe they can only afford 6%. The government will actually incentivize that lender for modifying their terms.
It's a wonderful opportunity for people to buy homes at incredibly discounted prices today, where they'll be able to afford them and they won't have to walk away from them. One of the reasons I've enjoyed this business is helping someone get a home that otherwise would have difficulty doing so.
It's a great workout, and it makes them feel good about themselves. I did learn one trick on the pull. I did. I have to show this guy my trick that I learned. See, I got it. That's all I got. That's my one trick.
Starting a 2, maybe a 5, maybe. Okay. That's how it's done. And here's a new trick for you to learn. Let me walk around the pole for you.
When I'm out driving around and I see an Escalade or a Hummer, I say, let's follow it. And my wife would say, well, why? And I said, well, it's going to be our next foreclosure. I did not sell one stinking loan like that.
We were skating that pool years ago, then they filled it with dirt, like 3/4.
It works. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I need a haircut. The bank will call you and try to work something out with you. They're trying to do this loan modification where they're trying to modify the loans and try to lower the interest rate or help them with the loan amount. But we're finding out that A year later, 60-70% of the loan modifications are right back into foreclosure. So it's not too successful. You know, the problem is the banks, they want to work with you, but they don't want to work with you that much.
You know what it is? It's round pegs and square holes. You know, you got all these round pegs of government regulation and square holes of buyers or homeowners that want to refinance their house. But they say, okay, I meet this, oh, I don't meet that, so let's go over to this program. I don't have the right amount of income, or my house isn't, you know, the right value. So all this stuff that sounds great on TV, in reality, is so few people are actually going to benefit from it.
I think the bean counters a year ago were saying, take the property. This is what we do. We've done this for years and years and years. And now the bean counters are going back and saying, oh, time out, put the brakes on. We got $1 trillion in loss, man. We're not in the property management business. And if we were in the real estate or property management business, it'd be to sell property at a profit, not a loss.
As much as I hate the idea, I have a belief as to how this is all going to end. And it's probably contrary. It's contrary to everything I believe. But I believe what will ultimately happen is that the banks will write these things down to whatever the current value is. And they will adjust the loan balances with the people that owe the money.
We're losing millions and millions, billions of dollars through the foreclosure process. And then on top of it, we're leaving huge fallout in neighborhoods. So when a real estate guy goes in and wants to sell a piece of property and you can't get it financed because there was 2 foreclosures in that neighborhood and a new comp was set based on a foreclosure price. So say it was a $300,000 house. The bank puts it on the market at $174,000. They get offers, meaningful offers at $147,000. Okay, the bank finally says, after the house being on the market for 12 months, says, okay, we'll take the offer. All right, so then the buyer comes in to buy that house at $147,000, can't get finance because the same banking industry who's trying to sell the house has now got to finance a house, and those underwriters say, you know what, we feel there's going to be more foreclosures in that neighborhood. So I'll tell you what, he's a good borrower, but I'll only give him $117,000.
I like Fresno because there's fun venues like the Spring Teeny.
Hey, I love Fresno because everybody knows me. I'm Fast Freddy.
It's not Fresno, it's yes. I love Fresno because here I am almost famous. Almost.
I like Fresno because we are #1 in the nation for college baseball. We won the College World Series, Cinderella team, underdogs to wonder dogs. Go Fresno State.
The Street Strider here is an outdoor elliptical. We make it here in Fresno, California. You can go over 25 miles an hour and you can burn over 15 calories a minute.
I like Fresno because it's hot enough to drink margaritas all year round. You're looking at the world's largest recyclable college mascot, made for Fresno State by a group of 8 Fresno State marketers. And we did it to promote Fresno State as a green campus and to help generate a scholarship and promote recycling on campus.
It's actually a really nice spot down by the river where we go drink beers a lot. She wasn't expecting it at all. She almost started crying. I got down on my knee. I guess, yeah, I probably did the romantic thing once or twice, I guess. I blocked those things out. She could probably remember more of those than I do. I just remember the kinky stuff.
This here is Woodward Lakes. This is a private community here. There's an association fee of about $300 a month. There's some $1 million homes in here, as well as some homes in the $200,000 price range. And this is in one of the primary areas of Fresno. Well, you don't want it to look like it's, you know, like they fence it off for a bad reason.
man. No one ever carries tilts. Everyone has sparks.
They have sparks?
They have sparks, but not tilts. Sparks.
Get a black spark.
What's a black one?
A strong 7.0.
Alright.
There's your 6.7. Give me a water though.
It's also the sparks. That's gonna last long. It's still an escrow, but judging by that, the prices are going up, so I'll be able to flip my home real quick and be rich.
Dealer's got a straight. Is yours an escrow?
Yeah. You look at it.
Yeah. Check it out.
This is a shit card.
So you're
See,
buying
dealer's got
Hogan?
a straight. Does that even count?
Aren't you gonna buy Hogan?
Yeah. God damn it. No, I'm not going to win this one. Dealer's got a straight. It's almost unbeatable. Oh, yeah. 2 pair ace high. That's a good hand, and I still don't win.
Where we just got beer at, there's a police substation there. We were skating rays like 2 different times where there were drive-bys right here.
Right here?
Yeah, there were drive-bys right here. It still took a half hour for the police to show up where I could throw a rock and hit their station from the shooting. Yeah. Ah, what a dick. Hey, came up. Oh, sweet. See, you get rich in Fresno just off the street. That's half a steel reserve in Tulare.
This house is approximately 3,800 square feet, 3-car garage, huge pool, brand new hardwood floors, new carpet. We put an offer in at $345, and the house is listed right now, just lowered $30,000 down to $369. So we're really hoping that they accept the offer.
Hi, I'm Marcelli, and this is Don, my favorite real estate guy.
Thank you.
Now back to Don Scordino and Welcome Home Radio on 1300.
Welcome back to Welcome Home Radio. This is Don Scordino, your host, and we're now going to move to our next 2 guests.
If someone could purchase today and still own that property 5 years from now, they would be in a very, very enviable position.
We are actually at a price level today that is pretty much equivalent to 1985.
I always tell people that the best paycheck I ever get is that feeling when I hand a first-time home buyer their keys. That is what it's all about.
I was able to get a nice 4-bedroom home for $700 a month. That's what I'm going to be paying fixed. Yeah. I work for 2 good doctors, and they're all about the patients. And with Don, it's all about the people that he helps buy homes. So that, I mean, I seen he's sincere, and he's good.
Make sure it's a fixed rate. Make sure that they give you 3 to 5% back for your closing costs. Make sure this, make sure that. They told me what to do before I got in.
Fresno isn't one of our normal stops. Usually, you know, you're going to hit San Francisco and Sacramento, then LA, and you skip the central part. But every once in a while, you come to a Fresno, and again, it's usually the towns where you're like, where are we playing? It's a Monday night. You're all excited because you played a great show in LA, and you're going to San Francisco or vice versa, and or the other way around. And you've got a Monday night or Tuesday night in Fresno. It's a Monday night right now in Fresno. And that said, you end up usually having one of the best shows of the tour because you're not expecting it. And it's always that way in small towns.
Warning, if you are human, you shouldn't be drinking this.
Suitable for toxic individuals.
Tastes good though. It's pretty sweet. Skate pools, drink beer, hang out with a bunch of other low-life losers, talk shit. My life depends a lot on my hot wife. She makes some money for being hot. Pretty much pays for my fucking worthless existence.
A short sale is the step, hopefully, to prevent a foreclosure. A short sale is where the owner may have purchased the property back when the market was at its height, and since then we've taken quite a decline. So they may owe, say, $300,000, but the house is now only worth $200,000. So they put it up on the market, they get an offer, and then they start pleading with the banks to accept their offer and go through a whole process of contacting the investors, the mortgage insurance companies, and all of those things to try to get it approved so that it doesn't go to foreclosure. It's actually less of a loss to the banks, but they are not staffed adequately to handle the thousands of and hundreds of thousands of packages they receive on a regular basis.
And there's just simply not the people to process those loans. So if I was coming out of college right now, my job, I'd become a real estate owned expert. What helped our home ownership rate get to 72% at its peak, it was this very sophisticated financial housing mortgage industry. What caused us to crash? It was this very sophisticated global financial mortgage industry. So you can't have it both ways.
This is a little 3-bedroom, 2-bath home located in a very good neighborhood in northwest Fresno. To my knowledge, this house was purchased in 2005 for $279,500. We sold it to a cash buyer who paid the full $145,000, taking it as is with a 19-year-old roof and termite work that needs to be done. As you all know, you should be changing your batteries every year when the daylight saving times come. Well, there's no one here maintaining these homes, so we come in to them and they need the batteries, and so you get the beep. I've fallen down the stairs in front of clients, but they bought the house, so that worked out okay.
The love seat's in 3 tiers. That's pretty unique. I think it's because the shallow one is as tall as I am that they think they need stairs to get out there too. I'm gonna go to Sweden to do a pool contest. It's not an actual swimming pool, but it was replica to be like one. It's in Malmö, Sweden, so I'm pretty stoked on that.
My mom's backyard, the filter messed up and the engine, whatever, pump messed up, and then so whenever she would leave, I would try to get a couple lines in the pool because she wouldn't want me to skate in it, and then that's how I first started.
engines are mounted backwards in V-drives because the shaft has to come down, and that's why they call it a V-drive. Well, this is typical of what you see on these foreclosed homes. There's a lot of debris buildup because the houses have been neglected for a period of time. They haven't been doing any maintenance on the roof. You can tell by all the moss that's on the roof and things. People have probably been struggling for a period of time trying to keep their homes, so they're not putting any money into the roof. So this is what happens, and then they foreclose, and these roofs are just, the trees aren't trimmed, the debris is not removed off the roof, and so these roofs really start to go downhill.
There are signs that the market is stabilizing in this area, and one of those signs is that the number of homes for sale is about half of what it was a year ago.
We're going to be the comeback city of the United States. People around the world will hear about the challenges that we've overcome. We'll be an inspiration to other cities, and we're doing it because of the people who live here, the very precious people who live here that need to have better lives. We're working together to get that done.
We're a vibrant community, full of culture and arts and entertainment, and it's all good.
You guys want some peanut butter? Yeah? Hold on. Okay, hi. My name's Katie Krajcek, and I have been helping out with the foreclosure pet issue. Okay, good boy. You know what happens? There's one of two things that happens. The owners, they do have a choice when they are going through foreclosure. What they can do is they can take their animal to their local pound and they can pay $30. Excuse me. They can pay $30, and that means that they can leave their pet there. If they can't afford that because they are going through foreclosures, they tend to leave them in their backyards. There's always someone who would take a pet. There's never a reason to leave a pet starving, and it's just that no matter what, there's always an avenue that you can choose so that your pet is not abandoned. It's so often that I don't keep count. If you have an animal, they're a part of your family. You would not leave another part of your family if you moved. So you have to think of it like that. If you can go to doggersize.com, you can save a life. You can find a home. You can know that even though your life has changed and maybe you cannot keep that pet, that pet can get another family and become a part of another family. Oh, it's peanut butter jelly time, huh? It's gonna be a good night.
You want the whole thing.
She does. Ruby will take all of it. Oh, and that's how you get some happy puppies.
Search some more, or you just skate something?
What is there to skate?
Same street you've already skated.
See what argument says.
I already tried to call it an answer. I should get a Taco Bell.
No.
A bunch of fire ants. I'm gonna drown them. These things will attack you, man. They hurt. What do you think? Scout the neighborhood for like 10 minutes? Some good pools in this side of the neighborhood. It's all ritzy. Some fucking big ones.
Yeah, man. Get some pancakes in a little bit.
See?
With an egg on there.
Sounds good. I'll get a hamburger. Damon was with them when they originally found the pool, and didn't he say no at first? It was one of the better pools we've ever seen, and he said okay one time, and then after we got our foot in the door, he asked, well, when are you guys coming back again? And it's outlived almost all the other pools we've had. We've had it for like 7 years, so it being a perfect pool for that long, so many people have skated it that just people all over have ridden it and heard about it and seen photos of it in the magazines and videos and stuff. And they also built a replica of this pool at a skate park in Saratoga, Florida, too. They've had us over for barbecues. We've helped them do yard work and move stuff and all kinds of stuff.
And there's people that didn't screw their lives over by buying houses before that still do have money in the banks that are bidding on them too. So we had probably bid on about 7 or 8 houses before we got in this one. And now I'm in here and I am paying as much for my mortgage as I was for rent in a crappy 2-bedroom apartment in the ghetto.
He's doing all right. It's all right so far. We haven't been here very long to know really yet. So we'll see. Right now it's all right. No, I've done most of the painting, so can't really say that he's doing a good job.
I bought this house for $155,000. I talked to the neighbor across the street recently. She's friends with the original owners who sold this at the peak to the people who got it foreclosed on, who bought it for $385,000.
The good news is I think at least for those starter homes, we might have hit bottom. So are we sort of a sign of things to come there too? We were late coming into the boom, but we hit the bust a lot sooner than anybody else. I specifically picked Fresno, and it was for many reasons, but the primary reason was the excitement that's in Fresno, the possibilities here, and the things that we can be.
I hope we, for a change, start to learn from our mistakes. You know, we have seemed to have a reputation of reliving all the mistakes that we've made in the past. And I like change. And I also have no problem with moderation. In fact, you know, they talk about moderate politicians in a negative vein. But, you know, my entire life I've been told by everybody, you know, all things in moderation will keep you healthy. And I think Obama's trying. Whether you like him, the way he got on into the presidency, whether you think he's qualified, it doesn't matter. He's there now, and he's trying. And I respect that he's trying, and I'm hoping and praying that we, you know, that we do learn from the mistakes that we've made that got us to where we are today, and hopefully we can grow out of it and be a better, stronger nation because of it.
Possibilities in Fresno are unlimited, and the leadership is in place to make that change happen. And it's exciting, and we won't be the armpit of California anymore.
It's a wonderful opportunity for people to buy homes at incredibly discounted prices today, where they'll be able to afford them and they won't have to walk away from them.
You know, before the houses were on this opportunity to get them at such a cheap price at the foreclosure deals, they were about $250,000 homes. So nobody was able to get these houses cash. Lucky for our family that we saved all our money and we didn't buy new cars or whatever, just saved them, and we had that money ready. So when the time came to buy this house and there was opportunity, so we just go for it and bought this house.
Plus, we have culturally have a Philharmonic Orchestra, and we have an Opera League, and we have a Fresno Metropolitan Museum, a Fresno Art Museum, Art America's Hispanic Art Museum. We have a lot of things going for us.
We always try to remind people that when it is 98 degrees in Fresno, it's 107 in Phoenix.
Huasteca, por tus encantos me has llenado de emoción al escuchar tus guapangos, lo mejor de tu región. Viendo tu amanecer, sabor a caña y café, y el beso de la mujer es como probar la miel.
There was a guy standing outside of where I work by a trash can, and I just saw him peeing. It lasted for like 10 minutes. He really peed forever. I was waiting for him to stop. So then he's still peeing for another 5 minutes. I get one of our bouncers to go outside. The bouncer walks all the way outside and taps him on the shoulder and is like, dude, what are you doing? Nothing? What? And he kept going. But when you gotta go, you gotta go. Yeah.
Cuando Cuando amanece tu cielo se escuchan los manantiales. Por las noches yo te quiero por esos bellos cantares. Mi huasteca y la hidalguense, la que México reclama. Tamaulipas se convence, también la veracruzana. Ay, huasteca linda, eres dichosa por tus guapangos y tus mujeres hermosas.
I'm a transplant to this area. I came from the Midwest. I moved here when I was in high school, and I found a city that has literally the most precious people, I'm convinced, on the planet. The diversity here is so rich, and people who are, they're not pretentious, they're caring, they're for the most part giving towards one another. It's just the people here really draw you in. So I ended up staying, and then once I got familiar with this place a little bit, I started to realize the potential. We have over 300 days of sunshine every year in Fresno. We really can be and should be the solar capital of the West Coast. Our airport has the largest solar installation of any other airport in the United States. Our university has one of the largest solar installations of any other university. And people are putting them on their rooftops. It makes sense for us in Fresno. We're also the #1 recycling city in America. So the story here is that even though we have significant environmental challenges, we are actually getting ahead of that and realizing that with alternative forms of energy, we can actually become a huge success story.
Eres hermosa.
But if we're going to really try to get ourselves away from fossil fuels, we really need to start looking at some of these alternatives. And all of those, no single one's going to solve our problem. All of those will have to come in together.
I held on for dear life.
I've seen it grow, and I've seen, just my family's here, my friends are here, and it's done a lot for me as far as giving me opportunity. And don't get me wrong, I have opportunity from coast to coast, but here, I talk to a lot of my clients, and their kids go to college, and they get great careers, and they end up in the big cities. They end up in LA and San Francisco and everywhere in between. And I just feel that some of us need to stay here and bring some of that quality, whatever they do, to Fresno.
I love Fresno because the possibilities here are endless.
Hey, that's not a good sign. I'm gone. Got an extra broom or a rake?
You've done enough for us already.
Well, this kind of reminds me of when I was 18 years old. I took a trip around the country. I bought an old panel truck for $75. Me and a buddy took off for 3 months. We'd go swimming almost every day we just walk into an apartment complex like we owned it.
Yeah, that's what we do, but only with the empty ones.
Yeah. Why do this and not at the skate parks? Because Fresno has what, 5 or 6 skate parks? All right.
No kids. Kids are the most annoying thing. Parents think municipal skate parks are a daycare service. We're with friends. We're not in an environment where we're exposed to the lousy skateboarding of people we don't know and don't care for. We're cool about it. We're quiet. We would never take anything. If I still slam, I have no one to blame but myself here. You know what I mean? So, good times. Put your front foot behind the front truck bolts, about there.
Yeah.
Keep it like 2 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
If you fall, don't try to stop yourself with your hands. Roll.
Okay.
Like. You know what I mean? It's like you're walking a tightrope.
Don't get that on film. Maybe this isn't gonna work. What if I did get in the pool on that?
I think it's a really bad idea.
I think it's a bad
Okay,
idea. I think
pool skating has more to do with Fresno's climate, environment, than it does foreclosures.
yes.
Most of the homes you go to are privately owned and you have their permission, you're fine. Hey, I gotta go, but I just sprained my right wrist, so I gotta shake with my left.
Did he sprain
No,
it?
no. Take
All right,
care.
well, it's nice meeting you.
Good hanging
Tim,
out.
thanks for saving my butt.
Maybe it's old, maybe I'm low, maybe it's down and dirty. Sometimes I wanna go away from this town. Maybe I think I've had it up to here. We have no answers, but we love to see your friendly faces. Fresno, Fresno, we're friends. Good, since you're not around, I'm waiting to see the bright light. You said we could be friends, like dust in the air. All of the things you told me blow